We did an episode on our Back to School by talking about a GED. If you haven't seen that, we'll put the link in the description below. I basically talked about what a GED meant and give you an example from an episode Everybody Hates Chris. I want to talk about other things that I did not mention in that episode, and it's going to take us a half hour to 30 minutes to an hour to talk about this. So we're going to basically do a little recap for those who don't know what a GED means. So basically, before we get started here, we're not throwing it out there like suggesting you need to get a GED because you're dropping out of school. No, we're suggesting it to you because you decide to say, I'm going to drop out of school, and then you decide to get a 10th grade education because you're being picked on. This is the only suggestion that is recommended for your child. So your child says, I'm going to drop out of school, put on their GED. So basically, what is a GED? Well, it's basically the General Education Development Test. It consists of 4 subject tests that, once passed, earn you a high school equivalency credential. The 4 subjects are language arts, math, social studies, and science. Does it sound familiar? If so, because they are subjects commonly taught in high school. The full meaning of this is just, however, it stands for General Education Development. And basically, it may be considered a degree. Many colleges today consider GED to be equivalent to a high school diploma. However, GED students may need to participate in community events and volunteer efforts to compete with other applicants who may have additional resume experience. GEDs are so important because it gives you access to more jobs, advanced workspace training, and higher education. It's accepted equivalent high school diploma by 97% of colleges and universities, 95% of employees, including the military, the government, and police departments. GED is equal to a high school diploma. So if you're saying like, well, do you get a GED cap and gown? Do you get a GED reunion? Do people say GED yearbook? There's no yearbook for that. It's just a test that covering all subjects of high school. Yes, it's a test that contains all the subjects of high school. Let me give you an example here. Because this is, if you saw the episode Everybody Hates Chris, then maybe then you would realize all about what a GED is. In the job market, it would put you in the equivalent of any ex-con, except for the ones finished high school. Totally untrue. But is it better than a G? Is a diploma better? Yes, a high school diploma is much more highly regarded by employers and college admissions, both generally before the diploma is to a GED. So if you tell your parents, "Hey, I'm going to drop out of school, but I'm going to take the GED. I'm also going to take the GED." Explain to your mom and dad that what a GED is, and I mean, this is for everyone, every child. Explain to them what a GED actually means. Because if you tell your mom and dad, "Hey, I'm going to drop out of school," and they tell you you don't go to school, you go to work, then that's on the parents. That's on the parents to say, well, this, and that, and the third. Most of the time, when kids drop out of school, they don't automatically get the GED. You know what's going to happen? They drop out of school, they're not going to be out looking for jobs. Your child will be out there on the streets doing drugs and drinking alcohol. Drinking and smoking. Drugs and alcohol provide a sedative for not just runaways, but for dropping out of school. But for school, like you're tired of school and you want to air out your grievances. There are a lot of YouTubers out there that have dropped out of school, like D&D and Morgs, to name a couple. They dropped out of school and they need to get their GEDs. In the episode Everybody Hates Chris was telling his parents about GED and what it could be. Well, if you saw the season premiere of Everybody Hates Chris, you might have realized that he failed his GED. And it was picking up right where they left off 19 years ago. All these years ago. So now we know why he probably failed because of that number 3 pencil. Basically, what I'm trying to say to the parents is, if your child wants to drop out of school, it's just basically like this. If your child wants to do the GED, support them. Like, no matter what you do, we're going to get through this together. We've also talked about, where you can get your GED from. To give you a quick recap here, there is the internet where you can get your GED, but you have to pay for it. You can find GED classes near you, somewhere in the community center, outreach center, a learning center, the Education Service Center Region 2, Del Mar College, South Texas Vocational, Sylvan, Learning in Corpus Christi. There's literacy. There's a lot of places that you can find in this map area that can really help you all about GEDs. Look for one near you. And for those concerned about online, just Google GED classes online or practice tests. You can find all types of websites. Like, you can go to online classes for your GEDs. You can find, but you got to pay for them. Those things cost money. Just do your research, and maybe then you can, maybe then you'll realize that, GED is, a diploma is really better than a GED. Just trust your instincts. Tonight we're focusing on the things we have not talked about from that GED episode we did back in July for our back to school month. And if you missed it, we'll put the video link in the description below. Basically what we covered here is where you can get your GED, what it is, and why do people just, choose that over a high school diploma. If there's one thing we have not covered, is the people who have gotten who have dropped out of school but gotten their GEDs. So let's take a look at let's look at these celebrities who have gotten their GEDs. It's a top 11 list of all the celebrities. It's a top 11 and a top 50 list of people who have gotten their GEDs. And if you go on the GED website, it will show you all about these people who have gotten their GEDs. Like Jay-Z, Jim Carrey, Chris Rock, Elton John, Nicolas Cage, J.L. Hewley, Christina Applegate, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Robert De Niro, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Drew Barrymore in progress. Jay-Z and his wife Beyonce are one of the highest earned celebrity couples. Clearly the rapper and business mogul didn't ever let his lack of high school diploma get in the way of his dreams. He attended schools across Brooklyn and New Jersey before ultimately dropping out and earning his GED. Next came Jim Carrey, one of the most successful comedians. As a teenager growing up in Canada, Carrey dropped out of school to work and pay the bills to support his family. Later on, he earned his GED and eventually skyrocketed to success across the entertainment industry. Then there's also Chris Rock, the one we mentioned in Everybody Hates Chris. The reason why he dropped out of school was because of bullying. Surprisingly, the beloved comedian once set his sights on becoming a broadcast journalist. He left high school early and earned his GED. He went on to study the subject of community college before pursuing his career in comedy and acting. Elton John. At 16 years old, he left the London Royal Academy of Music and at 16 years old in order to play rock and roll piano at the pubs. He later on his GED and the career took off. Nicolas Cage. Well, he left high school early on, but made sure to get his GED before making it as an actor. There's also D.L. Hewey. He was kicked out of high school in Central LA, became a gang member, eventually took the high road guy's GED, became a star. That's what can get you there. It's the gangs. If you join a gang, there is a way out, because when you drop out of school or don't go to school, you're automatically in a gang. Being in a gang means you're doing gang-related activities. Christina Applegate. Born in Los Angeles, Christina Applegate was born into a life that made her seem destined for stardom. She starred in commercials as a baby and even acted alongside her mom in soap operas, living a little time for schooling. For this reason, she decided to get her GED toward the end of 11th grade, which is junior year. Catherine Zeta-Jones. She left high school at 15 wanted to pursue acting. At this point, she already won an Oscar, but decided to get her GED later in life. Then there's Robert De Niro. He left high school early to pursue a career in Hollywood. He earned his GED and eventually earned several Academy Awards and the Golden Globe. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Australian born, he took a unique path, leaving high school to pursue his professional bodybuilding, and earned his GED went on to become a famous actor and the governor of California. And here's a bonus one, Drew Barrymore, the Drew Barrymore Show. Anticipating the age of 14, Drew Barrymore was a child actress who never graduated from high school. She's now a talk show host and has her own magazine, but she recently announced that she's begun her journey by preparing to earn her GED. So you gotta learn all about these tests, like we talked about this. Language, arts, social studies, just to name a couple. Mathematical reasoning, like basic math, geometry, basic algebra. Time to take the test is 115 minutes, which is over an hour. Reasoning through language arts, reasoning for meaning, creating arguments, grammar and language. 150 minutes is 2 hours. A format in 3 sections. Prices can vary by state. So therefore, if you were to look at the state, it won't probably do it. Then there's science, which is 90 minutes. The format, all these, even social studies, 70 minutes to take the test includes 2 minutes of instructions about a few. No break. All these. Some of these are no breaks. Some of these are not breaks. So you have to find it. You can take practice. You can take practice tests, but you gotta pay for it. So if you're gonna do a GED online, you have to pay for it. But if you do it in person, you probably won't have to pay. So what does that leave you to believe, boys and girls? You join the wrong team. If you're gonna do it online, you have to pay for it. But how are you gonna pay for your GED? Most people drop out of school. Let me tell you something. When most people drop out of school, it's because they want to help out their parents with the bills. There's nothing wrong with helping out your parents. It's just education comes first. A diploma is very important. Let's take Georgia, for example. In young Sheldon, Georgie decides to get a job so that he can not only help out his family, but he can get all the things he wanted. His boss, Dale, lets him pick up more hours, extra hours. And the principal's all like, well, you just can't ditch school. A diploma is very important. It's not like going to college, but it's very important you get your diploma. So the question on everyone's minds is, why is it so important to get a So the question is for everyone is, hey, why do I have to get a high school diploma? Why is it so important? We're going to answer that question for you when we return. Stay with us. From dropping out of school to finding solutions, the best solution ever is to get your GED. Before the break, we asked the question, why is it so important to get a high school diploma? A high school diploma is important because it significantly increases your chance to gain a good job, earning a higher income, and accessing further education like college, ultimately opening up more career opportunities and improving your overall quality for life. Most employers require a diploma as a basic qualification for employment. And even people, like last year, James Madison High School posted on their website like 6 reasons not to. One, you earn more money, you get career opportunities, and be more competitive when applying for a new job, and start preparing for your college or high school. Develop lifelong skills and increase your self-esteem. And they also posted about, 3 reasons to not get your high school diploma. Because people may think a GED is faster. There's still quite a few differences between a high school diploma and a GED. In some cases, like in the job market, it will put you on an equal level with any ex-con, especially except for the ones that finished high school. I mean, GED is not hard. It takes 4 years to finish high school. Instead of taking courses, you will need to pass an exam covering subjects in math, science, social studies, and reasoning through language arts. Prices for the exam may vary by state, but typically run between $20 and $40 per subject. So it's tough. You know why it's tough? Because you got to pay for it. So you sit there and say, "Well, I'm gonna go get my GED." You find out, "Oh shit, it's $20. I don't have that kind of money. I gotta go back to school." That's how they get you. Traditional high school might be in your schedule. When you're taking your family members working during typical school hours or on the road constantly, there's many reasons traditional high school might not be the best fit for you. You don't need a diploma when you're proud of yourself. It's worth it. Helps solve your problem. It's very important for your child to get a diploma. Because you're making actual experience, and you're only actual experience making money. So in Jordy's case, if he said he's going to drop out of school, then he would have told his dad, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting GED." And then basically would explain to him like, "Okay, well, GED is like this is at the third." And he explained like, "Oh, these celebrities have gotten their GEDs." Better pay. You can earn more money. Employment rates. Improve your skills and better pay. It also gives you access to better education. You got job opportunities. So you have to understand here the difference between getting a diploma and basically, a GED. High school diploma you get from free education. Want to blow a GED, you got to pay for it. And you got to have a plan B here. I had a conversation about this with a friend of mine. Because let me tell you something. When I work around McDonald's, and I see people, working because all these kids. That was the number one cause of truancy. If you don't believe me, let Noah Perez of Channel 3 explain, because we're going on. I know we're going off topic here. Listen, I know we're going way off topic here because of this. But what you have to understand here is the whole reason why kids are helping out their parents pay the bills. I mean, evictions and debt claims. So, take a look at this one.
Truancy is rising at an alarming rate across the state, and here in the coastal bend, where student absences have always been a problem, things are particularly bad because of the pandemic. Our Nora Pettis spoke to two of our area truancy judges to find out how they're handling these cases during this challenging time.
I've spoken to quite a few judges throughout Texas. We have over 1,000 truancy judges, and they're in the same boat.
Judge Joe Benavides talking about truancy cases and how they've risen during the pandemic. One cause, issues with students and parents keeping up with assignments while doing online classes. Parents say sometimes their kids are being counted absent when they've simply failed to turn in work by a certain time. Judge Benavides says he's heard many stories of families who are at the breaking point, dealing with job loss, illness, loss of childcare, and other issues that have been severely disruptive to their children's education.
Your teenagers working at Walmart, working at Burger King, working at McDonald's. These kids are working because they're trying to help mom or dad pay the bills. These are cases and cases of evictions right here and debt claims. It's really getting really bad. parents on my side are struggling a lot.
Judge Thelma Rodriguez, who also hears truancy cases for CCISD and other districts in the area, says she and her fellow justices are handling these cases a little differently now, trying to help families who are struggling.
Mostly I'll do deferred orders, which is like a probation period, and it's for counseling services to get with the students, virtual counseling services.
Both judges say they are trying to find nonprofit organizations, grants, and other community programs to help these families, most of whom are trying their best to see to their children's education in these extraordinary conditions.
We're not here to argue the child should be in school, the parent should be behind the iPad with the child. We're just trying to find solutions.
Nora Bettis, 3 News.
I mean, the problem is this, okay? Your child dropped out of school, that's the problem. What's the solution? Well, I mean, when parents hear about the phrase, I'm dropping out of school, it's like, get out of my house. No, there's other ways. You don't just throw your child, you don't freaking throw your child out of the house because he or she dropped out of school. Be supportive of this. Don't be sitting there saying, okay, if you don't go to school, you go to work. In Chris's case, it's like, if he didn't go to school, he had to go to work. I mean, he had a 10th grade education. What kind of job are you supposed to get with a 10th grade education? Not many. Once you're 16, you have your high school. I mean, there's probably an exception here. So if you're in school and... Great thing I saved up my ID for this example. You have your student ID with you and say, okay, I'm applying for a job. Here's my student ID. You look at this and go, okay, we can accept. Okay, that's a loophole. Just because you're 16, it doesn't mean that, you get to apply to McDonald's at 17 or 18. Like, I get for summer jobs. Like, you want to get a job in the summer to help out you want to go out and with your girlfriend or whatever, for a date, whatever. I understand completely. But when school comes around, when it's time to go back to school, now's the important time to tell your supervisor that, hey, I got school coming up on this day and I need to start talking about changing my schedule here because of school. And so you have to find the appropriate time to let them know. Meaning show them the school schedule and say, okay, well, I get off of school at this time so I can come into work after school, like at 4:30. Not 1 minute. I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, it's really not that hard to understand and say, well, this, that, and the third. And with that, truancy is a growing problem here in Nueces County. Take a look at this.
Truancy. It's a growing problem here in Nueces County.
And as the caseload for truant teens continues to grow, one local judge is trying to help the full courtroom and waiting area, and truancy night court is his way to fix that. A full courtroom and waiting area as parents and their teen listen for their name to be called by Judge Joe Benavidez.
16 years old. Today she has 358 unexcused class periods.
Teen after teen, ranging in ages from 14 to 17 years old, Judge Benavidez heard each case, asking the teen why they've been missing so much school.
Who takes you to school?
My dad and my stepmom and my grandma.
So why are you late? Why are you tardy and stuff like that?
I just don't like to go to school.
He also asked the parents what they're doing to get their kids back on track.
Dad, you got anything to say?
Get her to school, sir. She chooses go late, skip, and we try talking to her. We've done so much, and she just continues to do this on her own.
Judge Benavidez says he's found truancy issues stem from being bullied in school, drugs, peer pressure, and gang-related activities. And tonight, by speaking to the parents and their teen, he hopes to have the teen return to school, get their GED, or graduate.
So you come back and tell me, look, Judge, I did everything, so I'll reconsider everything else, you understand? But you've got to follow the note, you understand? The court order.
The next night court session will be held Tuesday, May the 22nd. It begins at 5 p.m. Steph, Okay, hopefully that works. Thank you, Priscilla.
It probably can help. I mean, if it can help if it can help get your child back on track at school, because they're thinking to themselves like, because they're working. Look, you have to choose school or work. You go to work, you drop out of school, but if you go to school, you gotta take a leave of absence. You need to tell your supervisors and say, hey, I need to take a leave of absence for the rest of the year because I have to go to school. And I don't want to get extra hours being put in and waste my sleeping time. And I certainly don't want to have the school get y'all involved in saying, this is that third, especially my parents. Because you still live with your parents at this point. So what can we learn from this? Well, basically, it's common. Well, we basically learn from common sense. That's exactly how we learned it. We learned this from common sense. You know? It's all about choice. You either go to school or go to work. And when you drop out of school, there you go. If you actually drop out of school, you're left with the option of saying, you know what? What are you gonna do? If you don't go to school, you go to work. I mean, that's why kids are expelled from school these days, because of behavior issues, and you know. That's why I just don't want this ever happening to a child. And if it did, well, I wouldn't even be here. We'll be right back. We're back in a moment. Stay with us. Let me just say, I hope this updated episode could really start a debate here, talking about the difference between a GED and a diploma, and why it's very important for every child to get a diploma rather than a GED. Let's face it, you know. When I was in school, you know, they had school-related programs all about getting jobs out of the community. That's why I was in the the CBI program, Community-Based Instruction, and the READY program. In those programs, we would go out in the community to help out. You know, I swept the floors at the USS Lexington, the YMCA. I folded rags there. I mopped the floors. We stocked shelves at Walmart. In that program, we get $1 an hour. And the other program, we get over $1 an hour. We use that money just to go on field trips and all that stuff. The thing you have to understand here is just, you know, I get that you want to help out your mom and dad with the bills. I get it. If it's your first job, your first paycheck, you earn some money, you look into your responsibility. Because, you know, when we were growing up, you know, we asked our mom, when we were kids, we always asked our parents, hey, can I have $20 to go to a movie? Hey, can I have this? Hey, can I have $5 for this and that and the third? That's what we were when we were kids. We were always asking our parents for money and then we spend it. We never gave back the change. So that's exactly how we learned. So the way to learn about this is just to basically go to school and learn the basics. Without education, not only would you not get a good job, but then you'll strive to failure. I mean, if you don't have no credits, you can't be moved on. You don't get your diploma. So it's not basically all about a win-win situation. What it's all about is just, you know, trying to understand why it's important to get your diploma. And I get you want to get your GEDs like real fast, but online courses cost money, while in person, I don't know how much it costs. So, like we talked about in the beginning, find somewhere where you can get your GED, and maybe then they'll help you out. I mean, that's why education's free. I mean, people go to online school, you gotta pay for it. Online school. You find a website, you go to online school, you gotta pay for that. You gotta hire a tutor, like homeschooling, you gotta pay for everything. I mean, homeschool and online school, your parents have to pay for it. We didn't get free education from our tax dollars. Free education from our tax dollars. I mean, doing online schools, your parents have to pay for it. We didn't get free education from our tax dollars. Our tax dollars pay for education from our tax dollars. And so therefore, what you need to do is to realize that, you know what? Maybe this guy's right. I need to focus in on school and put work aside. If you work late, you talk to your boss and say, hey, these hours right here, I can't do because I have to go to school. Just talk to your supervisor. The mom is just talk to your supervisor. And maybe they'll understand, like, okay, you're in school. And common sense will tell you this. A diploma is better than a GED. That's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Sunday. Going into Monday, we'll see you again for Give Me a Break Menendez Monday, where we're focusing on the Menendez brothers. New evidence that could set them free. Follow us here at YouTube and Give Me a Break. Stop bullying, speak out, concentration, not strength. No jaywalking, and a diploma is better than GED. Good night.